Hey, friends and fellow DMs, welcome to DM's Corner with DM Scotty. Great to have you with me. Today I want to talk about lair encounters, okay, or lair actions, all right? This is a great system that you can use for any encounter and not just for bosses and things like it's kind of intended, right? Now, if you know Drunkens and Dragons, he does a great video called Key Mechanics, which is tuning and counter tuning, where he talks about tuning the dials of an encounter. So if the players are just having too easy a time, you could give the things, you could do different dials to change up the difficulty of the encounter. So make the monsters do more damage, give them more hit points, and that kind of thing. And that's really interesting. But I think that the lair actions is another great way to change the balance of an encounter, okay? So, I mean, you got to realize that when you're playing D&D and you're the DM, you've got, 4, 5, 6 people all working together, with ideas to outsmart you, right? And no matter how clever you think a challenge is, or an encounter or a fight, the players can totally outsmart you by something you didn't even think of, right? Which is fine, which is great, okay? But sometimes that kind of can drain the fun from the game. So if the players are just beating the crap out of something that should be a little harder or a lot harder, it's not really fun for them or you, right? You want to bring that challenge up a bit. And like Hankerin said, you can turn those dials to help with that. But here's another thing you could do with lair actions. You could actually incorporate those in any encounter. And if you're not familiar with the lair actions, generally it's like bosses at initiative count 20. So essentially, the beginning of the round will activate some lair, something in the lair that will hinder or hurt the player characters. And generally, it's not a huge effect, but any little kind of effect can really tip the scales and make a much more interesting and dynamic encounter. Okay. And so if you're playing weaker enemies, you could have maybe one lair action. If you're having a boss, you could have a lair action every round and really change it up and make it interesting for things I don't expect. Now, when you describe these things, don't just say, "Oh, you all fall down" or whatever. You want to have some reason for this happening, right? So maybe the cavern shakes. There's a minor earthquake and everybody has to make a check or they fall over. Or maybe if the creature is like some kind of plant based, maybe roots come out of the ground and grab the player characters and that kind of thing. So you can do all this kind of stuff with lair actions. Then what I thought I would do is I'd talk about different ideas that you could use to do lair actions. There's all kinds of things you can do, and the monsters that do lair actions have like specifically listed lair actions. But you can keep this generic list, which I'm going to put on my Facebook group. You can keep this generic list near you, and when you need to bump up an encounter somewhat, you can add these lair actions. And the great thing about lair actions is, if you tune stuff, players may catch on that you're tuning, which is still fine, but they may catch on, and like Hankerin says, you want to tell them you're doing it. But with the lair actions, you can just pretend it's part of the encounter. Like it may not have been, but I mean, they're not going to know, the players aren't going to know that it wasn't already built into the encounter. So that's a kind of a neat thing about it. And then, with it too, if the players were getting their butts kicked, you could like either turn these down or not use them at all, right? But if the players are doing too well, you could always throw these in for more spice and flavor and to make the encounter more interesting. So let's talk about some of the different things you could do for lair actions. So the first effect you could bring in for your lair action could be difficult terrain. So think of ways that the monster could change up the terrain to make it more difficult for the player characters. Now, maybe a kobold sneaks out and knocks over a thing of oil and it spreads all over the ground and makes it slippery, right? And you wouldn't have to cover the whole area, right? A barrel of oil is probably only going to cover a certain area, but of course you could have it right in front of where the PCs are, so they got to move through it or whatever. So Yeah, that's one great thing that you could. That's one easy thing you could do to make the encounter more interesting. Another thing you could do is obscure sight. So maybe that same kobold throws a smoke bomb and it bursts in front of the player characters, and it makes sight very difficult, or even they might have to they're coughing and that kind of thing. So that obscuring sight it could be really interesting. Also, remember for these actions that it only lasts until the start of the next round. So that's great because you don't have, if someone gets paralyzed, they don't keep being paralyzed. It's like just for the one round. So they don't get too annoying because you're not using it for, the whole encounter, and, it goes away at the end of the round. Plus, you have to use different ones, right? That's kind of in the rules. You have to use different types of lair actions. So you can't keep using the same lair action at them, and this just gets really annoying. You have to use different ones. So that's another one. So another one could be snaring. Something comes out to snare the players. Maybe there's tentacles that pop out and start grabbing the players, or like I said with the plant-based creature, maybe roots pop up and twist around the player characters. So that's another way that you could make it interesting. Use snaring. Knockdowns, also a great one. You could have especially if it's a giant creature, it's like stomping around, it could slam the ground, or, swing its arms, or buffet its wings or whatever. And you could, a minor earthquake or something like that. And you could cause, the players to have to roll to see if they fall over. So that's a great one because then the players lose half their movement. They lose a lot of options as far as where they can position themselves for that round. So that's a pretty cool one too. And we talked about obscuring sight, right? But how about light changing? How about the enemy casts darkness on the player characters on a certain area of the map, right? And, most players can't see in magical darkness, so that's pretty cool. Or maybe they snuff out, maybe it's already a dark cavern and the enemy casts darkness or something on the magical light, or somehow dispels the magical light, right? And all of a sudden, they're standing in darkness. So that can be a really cool one too, kind of a oh crap moment, Okay, this one could be a really nasty one. How about heal dampening? So that the healing spells either are not effective or only partially effective. So the players are like, oh crap. But you remember, like I said, you can't keep doing the same one over and over. So the players, are going to have a round of having it rough, but they're not going to have to deal with that every single round that you're going to keep doing the heal dampening, right? But it can be really scary when the players try to heal. All of a sudden, or there's some magical effect, and the players are like, what's going on there? And then all of a sudden, when they're like, I heal you, and they heal, and it's like it doesn't work, or it's only partially effective. That could be a really oh crap moment, for the players. So that's another one, like you'd have a heal dampening effect. Well, we said with the heal dampening, how about spell dampening? So the spells are less effective. They do half or no damage on a save and that kind of thing. So that could be really, really an interesting thing to throw at your casters. And like I say, you're not going to do it every round. So, it's not going to be too overpowering. And, I would give them some kind of because casters hate to waste their spells, so I would give them some kind of evidence, that something's happening. Maybe they feel something, make an Arcana check or something like that. Have them make an Arcana check, or they feel something, or they feel their power being drained, or something like that. So that way they're keyed in, narrative-wise, that hey, my spell might not work, and I might want to save it for next round. I may not want to do it this round. So I think I would tend to do that and that kind of effect. How about something that blocks the entrance or the exit? Say the players are trying to get through and it's like, aha, a door, a trap door closes, or, something pops out and blocks their way, or a magical field, closes the entrance or whatever. So yeah, that can be really, really fun if they're trying to beat a hasty retreat, or, or they're just trying to burn through the encounter, trying to get through or whatever. You could slow it down and make it a little more interesting. Of course, last but not least, you could always do some kind of free attack or free effect or free spell effect. But I tend not to like that because I think that's kind of covered in the legendary actions for monsters. that you can actually port to lesser bosses too if you wanted. But I think that's covered, yeah, more in the legendary actions. And I don't know if I would do that lair actions. The lair actions, I think, should be less about damaging the players and more about interesting effects that happen that hinder them through the combat. So there we go. I hope you found this interesting. And if you did, check out my other videos. I have many other DM videos, as well as you guys know me as the DM Crafter, as well as crafting videos. And so you guys have fun, have great time gaming, and I'll see you next time for more DM advice.